Okay, our next guest is here to talk about the importance of branding and sales when your business is in the startup phase. Julian Vanderwell from Empower Solar Commercial joins me live now. Julian, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So, look, if we focus on your background, you had a couple of sales companies, I believe, and then you decided to enter the solar industry a couple of years ago. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, so I had a company, or the last couple of companies were around for 10 or 12 years. We trained about 3,500 sales agents across the country and was doing really well, but I just lost the love for it. And then we ended up closing that down at the end of 2018, early 2019. There was a massive personal growth that came out of that year. And then I sort of fell into the solar industry, launched that company, a massive company down here in massive Australian, Queensland-based company down here in South Australia. And around about 9 months after that, I took the plunge and got into my own business as well. And we've been doing really, really well. It's been an incredible first year, especially setting up in the middle of COVID pandemic and lockdown. It's been a great first year. So, yeah.
Yeah, can I ask why you decided to enter the solar industry?
I, I guess for the next 10 years, number one, it's something that we could give back to the community. I've got 4 kids myself, so leaving a legacy of business, both personally and professionally, was super important to me. Also wanted something that was going to make a difference, not only in the businesses that we worked with, but also in the environment. A lot of people residentially are not necessarily buying solar because of that social aspect and the environmental aspect, but it's an incredible byproduct. Whether whatever's happening around the world, globally and climate and socially, solar is probably one of the best investments that a business or a residential property can actually invest into to reduce those costs. There's not really anything out there from an asset base that can reduce costs and have those costs reduced for the next 25 years if the solar is installed properly. So that was one thing. Secondary out of that was I saw sort of a lot of the devastation. A lot of my family, a lot of my friends that had businesses in Melbourne and Sydney and all around the countryside. And to be honest, the business landscape in the middle of June, July last year, 2020, it looked pretty bad. There wasn't much hope out there. So my initial aspect of setting up the business was to provide hope for other businesses and sort of a little bit of inspiration, that what can be accomplished if you have the right mindset, the right route to market, and the right business skills, out of what otherwise was a very, very minimal marketplace. So that was my idea of setting up the company originally.
What's your advice to businesses on the importance on having a socially conscious or being more socially conscious, than they ever have been?
Yeah, I guess we're dealing with a very, very sophisticated purchaser these days. The consumer is very, very well versed in, sales practices. There's a lot of competition out there, whether it be from China, whether it be from local or national companies, big and small. So you need to provide a product and a service that goes above and beyond. But I think a lot of people these days are looking for, what does a company do? What does it stand for? And instead of what are we purchasing, it's how the company's going about that and why they're actually in business in the first place. I think that's super important. You can buy the same product anywhere, but a lot of the reasons why a lot of the clients work with us, it's what we do in the back end and how we actually want to support the community and the worldwide, in the world around us. So, having a very socially conscious presence in the marketplace creates a very unique business proposal for consumers to land into that business. And for me, it's more of a long-term view. We're working on a program at the moment that essentially is going to look after businesses for 15 to 20 odd years post the initial investment. So that's a very, very long time that we're going to be around for these clients. And clients want to know that they're dealing with a very stable, conscious business. Otherwise, they can get the product from anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely, they can. All right, Julian, thanks so much for joining us today to share your insights. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.